bubbling, coming in, crushing this art. So today I'm here talking about tarot. And I came in previously um, talking about just the general framework of how I read tarot, right? And I want to go through slowly but surely on each individual card so that we can get a greater understanding on what it would mean and how to interpret its meaning if we got it in a reading, right? One second. Okay, so today I just drew a random card from my beautiful Nightmare Before Christmas deck, right? And one of the cards that I drew, or the card that I did draw, is it was the Seven of Candles. So I figured that we would start talking about the decking cards, right? And we would start with then the suit of candles. So I brought up previously, and like I want to keep iterating. I kind of view tarot as an art, or any sort of divination as an art. And as long as you have a balanced system that you're drawing from, then systematic delineations can be accurate. But that's just my view, right? This is an art, is what I'm trying to say. There are also other people that do things very intuitively. There are people that read tarot very differently. And I don't feel like I should have to reiterate that a lot, but I just want to bring that out there. I'm very artistic with what I do. I'm very original. And I feel like as long as I know, the root or the meaning behind what I'm doing, I'll do it in my own way without any problem. And it may look different, right? So I guess just be ready. So, the Decans. The Decans will tell us how something is physically playing out. So, they'll tell us what we are. So when it comes, there's a difference between the decans and the signs. So I stated in my previous video that I read tarot with associations, right? With astrological associations. And there are 12 cards that correlate to the 12 signs. Like Aries, the Emperor, through Pisces, the Moon, right? And they're so when I see a one of those cards come up, it's almost like a greater meta calling to integrate an atmosphere, integrate a space, right? Versus when we get a decking card, my view is that this is sort of an embodied direction. And we'll start to see how this plays out a little later. But basically, there's a purity that we can see. We can see an alignment between the decans and the signs. So there are certain decking cards that will have they'll be powerful. The 1, 5, and the 9 particularly. And I'll explain why. But the signs are more so potential, right? So there's I guess that's just all I want to put. There's more so this overarching perspective that we're learning how to integrate when we draw a sign, right? That's almost more powerful and lucrative and open, but also undefined, right? Whereas there's a real embodied being and act and sort of frequency and vibration when we draw a decking card. So this is sort of how I interpret the decans as the earth side and the signs as the water side. Okay, my phone's dying, so hopefully we can share this. Or hopefully I can finish this. But besides the point, basically I want to illustrate what cards are the decking cards, in my view, versus the court cards. Because I do not include the ace, and I use the 10 as the beginning. And this goes for the courts are the they're unreal, right? They're not Decan. They don't have as much weight and relationship behind them, although they have some, right? They don't have the complete real mixture of modality and element. It's kind of element on element, although I use 5, like the 5 element with the ace included spirit. But either way, so I use the 10, the greater card, the numbered card, as 1, introducing the beginning of a chord. No, not of a chord. Of a of a suit, right? Of the beginning of a suit. So let's take a look. So here we have the numbers by modality. So this is the chart that I use in order to understand what the 9 numbers mean. And I have all the cards laid out where they should be. We have the 10 of candles, the 2 of candles, the 3 of candles, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 9. So now if we take a second, now that we're looking at the court, not the court cards, at the Decan cards for the first time, to understand what this dual sense of modality means. These also correlate with the 9 life paths, interestingly enough, since this is a system that's by 9. And when we reduce numbers, we also utilize this dial of 9 as well. Say adding up another number together to get where it is on this dial. So like, for example, if we had 14, we're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, we'd see it lands on 5. And it also, we could have just added 1 and 4. But this is the dial, like it's by 9, so we'll just go round and round and round. And it will show us where it is on this dial when we add numbers together, which is really cool. So, getting into the meanings. Now we have this personal realm right here, this beginning realm of 1, 2, and 3. Because 9 is divisible by 3, and then we'll be left with 3 parts, we start to see this square system of modality where we have the cardinal realm and the cardinal fixed mutable placements, right? So there's sort of this iteration on you can be in the realm of something, right? But you can be a different placement. Like, for example, 2 here is a fixed placement. It's in the middle of 1, 2, and 3, right? But it's still in the cardinal realm. So then to illustrate what all these placements would be, 1, 2, and 3 are in the cardinal realm. 4, 5, and 6 are in the fixed realm. And 7, 8, and 9 are in the mutable realm. 1 is cardinal, 2 is fixed, 3 is mutable. 4 is cardinal, 5 is fixed, 6 is mutable. 7 is cardinal, 8 is fixed, and 9 is mutable. So then, 1 by 1, 1 is in the cardinal realm, and it's cardinal, power number. 2 is in the cardinal realm, and it's fixed. 3 is in the cardinal realm, and it's mutable. 4 is in the fixed realm, and it's cardinal. 5 is in the fixed realm, and it's fixed, power number. 6 is in the fixed realm, and it's mutable. 7 is in the mutable realm, and it's cardinal. 8 is in the mutable realm, and it's fixed. And 9 is in the mutable realm, and it's mutable, power number. So, now we can get into interpreting each one of these cards one by one. So I want to do this a little quickly, unfortunately, because I don't have too much battery left. I did this at a bad time. So if I just leave this chart a little bit in view, even though that's a really bad angle, then I can talk about the cards one by one, and we can just sort of view this. I think this might help. Maybe. Yeah. Hopefully my screen shuts off. No. There we go. Okay. So, if we're starting with the fire realm, right? So we have this first card, right? or we're starting with the fire suit, right? This is candles in this deck, but it's fire. So this 1 would be a power number, right? Because not only is it in the cardinal realm of 1, 2, and 3, but it's in the cardinal placement of 1. So when we're interpreting this card, we start to realize it's cardinal, right, in the realm, right, and then it's cardinal in the placement, and it's fire. So what I like to do is associate the realm, the broader placement, right, and the element with the sign that we're starting from, right? So this would be the cardinal realm, right, and fire. So we would start with Aries. 1 second. Okay, bear with me here. I'd have the zodiac. It's not very well drawn, but it will get the message across. So we start here with Aries, right? And then we're also, because this is a cardinal number, it's very easy. We're aspecting Aries again, right? So this is power, right? So this is being, this is refining our individuality, right? Because there's sort of a power or a conjunction there. Versus, say, if we're, we'll move on to the next cards, but basically, when we have a power number, there's a real atmosphere, or a real, not an atmosphere, but a real embodied individuality, right? So if we draw the 1 of candles, we know there could be issues with someone, being a little bit too headstrong, issues with someone needing to stand up for themselves, right? Issues where, they may need to learn how to realize, right, or function, right, or care for themselves, being a little bit too headstrong, or a little bit too take on the world, right? But there's also then the power here. We know now someone is being very much authentic. There's a real authenticity here. And we can see that just by interpreting then Aries, right? So moving on to number 2, we have 2 of candles, right? So like I said, what we'd start with is the realm. Now 2 is in the cardinal realm, right, of 1, 2, and 3. And this is candles, which is fire, right? So this is cardinal fire. So again, we're at Aries. But now we see that 2 is a fixed placement, right? 1 cardinal, 2 fixed, 3 mutable. It's right in the middle of this cardinal realm. So this would start to aspect Leo then, and this would start to branch off into the fixity of fire, right? So now this would be a little bit different, right? So now instead of having this Aries and then aspecting again Aries and creating this real powerful personal embodiment, right? Now we're at Aries and we're in Leo. So this is us realizing our purpose, right? This is us trying to get our message across and realize our individuality in a solid sense of purpose, right? Instead of just having sparks, instead of just having a vision, now we sort of have a real dream, right? And so this is this realization, right? Because now we're moving from this cardinal point to this fifth house, right? Because we're either going to be aspecting a 5th house or a 9th house or the house, right? So we just talked about the 1 of fire, which was Aries, right? Which is then creative, right? Personally creative, right? And then once we have the 5th house aspect, this is realization, right? Because now we're sort of in the real realm over here, in the relational realm. When we have a 9th house aspect, which we'll see too in the next card, this will be a sort of explorative or an opening up, right? Versus realization. A going out, right? A trying new. So, but going back to this card, so we have Aries, right? We have our individuality realizing purpose. So this is us starting to get accustomed to and going on a journey of realizing what we really care about, right? With Aries, like what we're really going to fight for, right? What is our heart in? So this could also be something like, especially with the Two of Candles, right? The relationship, this could be like a person too, right? Like this is a person that I have purpose with, that I'm purposed with, right? Or just something that I'm willing to fight for, right? Because, like I said, this is a realization of purpose, right? Which is very interesting. So, yeah. This is like refining and bringing into being our individuality, right? Starting to ground our authenticity. So now moving forward, I'm at 10%, but I'm like charging a little bit. Besides the point. We have the Three of Candles. Now the Three of Candles is going to aspect this point. So we're still going to be in Aries, right? Because now we are still in the cardinal realm, but this is going to be a mutable placement, right? 1, the cardinal placement, 2, the fixed placement, and 3, the mutable placement. So now when we look at this, we're going to start to see that this is our individuality opening up, right? This is us going out to explore who we are in the world, right? This is getting more information. This is telling us more about who we are. Interestingly enough, this is finding who you can be in the world and all the places you can go, right? So this is an interesting card. This is exploring yourself, right? Instead of just being yourself or realizing yourself, this is exploring yourself, right? So there can be a sense of being lost in one's own little world, but there can be a sense of really expanding your own visions, right? And broadening the reasonings behind them. So that's really cool. So now we start to change up a little bit and move on to number 4. So now, going here, we start to see we just switched realms, right? We just completed a cardinal fixed mutable. So now we go back to cardinal in a whole new realm, in the fixed realm, right? So this 4 candles, because it's in the fixed realm and it's fire, would associate with Leo, right? But then we have a cardinal placement, right? So it would be aspecting Aries, right? So this would be our purpose sorry, I went the wrong way. This would be our purpose exploring our individuality, right? So this would be from a sense of purpose, right? From a defined idea of ego, right? Exploring all the different ways that we can personally be that, right? So this would be finding new ways to be yourself, finding new ways to do what you do, right? This can be almost very self-involved, right? I'm just trying to work on expand my vision, right? Almost similarly to the individuality, but with the last card, it's very much free, and this is already embodied in a place of purpose or a place of ego, and now trying to expand that and really find one's own self within who you are, right? So that's really cool. So this would be like trying to bring new or bring to life what you're involved in, right? Trying to add more personal meaning to who you are, right? Like deepening your connection to self in a way. So then we would move on to the 5. So this 5 here would be associated with the power 5, right? So this would be Leo. So this would be getting creative with our purpose, right? And having this purposed frequency where when it comes down to what we do and how we see ourselves, now instead of elating it or expanding it like we just did, right? Now we're literally getting creative with it and sort of able to define and embrace and be one with our sort of ego, right? The sort of real vision that encapsulates us, right? So that's really awesome. There's a real sense of being what you need to, or being who you think you should be here, being your person here, right? And a real sense of embodying who you should be, right? And there can be a blindness there, I feel, but there's a real sense of personal responsibility. So moving forward, now we have the, I have 8%, I'm freaking out. Maybe if I switch this up a little bit, this will charge better. Hold on. Okay, we'll try that. So this is the 6 of candles, right? So now we see that the 6 is in the mutable spot in the fixed realm, right? So now we're coming from a Leo angle, and we're getting, and we're realizing our meaning, right? So because Leo is invested in a real space, it realizes off a sense of vibe that connects, right? And can connect people together. So this is, with this 5th house aspect to Sagittarius, investing in sort of what makes your purpose and what makes your ego, counter to the 4 of candles, personal, what makes it meaningful, what makes it worthwhile to the world. So there's a sort of search here with the 6 of candles of, you know, who am I to the world? What greater part do I play, right? There's a real sense of realizing meaning within one's own purpose and sense of self here. So yeah, there could be a real great discovery of that and an expansion, or there could be sort of a feeling of, what do I do? What am I to the world? So yeah. Now, moving a little bit onward, we have the 7 of candles. Now we see we transferred realms once again. Now we're in the mutable realm, and we're talking about the cardinal placement, the first placement in the mutable realm. So the 7 of candles aspects Sagittarius up here because it's in the mutable realm and it's fire. But 7 over here is the beginning in the mutable realm of 7, 8, and 9, and so it's cardinal. So we're aspecting Aries from Sagittarius, right? So this is us realizing our individuality, right? This is our faith and direction, realizing a sense of self, right? So this is us really working on where we want to go and realizing what we want to fight for and what's meaningful to us, right? There can be a sense of, I need to find meaning here, right? But there's also a sense of being able to realize your own individual meaning that sort of lights your fire no matter where you are, because you know why you're there, right? But on the counterbalance, it could be the need to find yourself in what you're doing and free yourself by sort of reconnecting to who you are, so that when you're going through the day-to-day, it doesn't feel like it's taking away from you, but embracing you, right? So there's a real sense of needing to free oneself by realizing what oneself is, so that you can even connect to it, right? Moving onward, we have the 8 of candles. So the 8 is over here in the fixed placement, again in the mutable realm. So mutable fire would aspect Sagittarius, but the fixed placement would aspect Leo, right? So this is our faith exploring purpose, right? The exploration of purpose, right? Which is really interesting. So this is us sort of really exploring the world and getting to know what is purposeful in the world, trying to get a sort of broad understanding on what it is to be purposeful, right? What does it mean to be purposed? What does it mean to be honored, right? Is a real question here, and a real exploration or a search to find yes, like sort of like a exploration or a journey of purpose, right? A purposed journey here. Really, yeah, it's a very interesting card. An exploration of purpose. Yeah. It's just such a like broad card because it's already our faith, right? It's already this free aspect from a free angle, right? This ninth house. So this exploration, trying to expand our meanings in a purposeful way. So it's literally such an adventurous card, just trying to understand what is purposeful. But I almost feel like the counter side could be such a willingness to go in what is that it almost loses itself. But that's like not necessarily negative. It's just so mutable and so like headstrong, which is interesting. Yeah. The exploration of purpose. I'll leave it at that. Well, because there could be a sense of needing to find a real sense of purpose, right? And really going out, yeah, just really searching for how you can be integrated into the world, right? Which could be a great purpose journey, like I said, or it could also be this real sense of isolation, right? Depending on other cards that pop up. So, the last but not least card, we have the 9. So the 9 is the last, so it is the mutable placement in the mutable realm. It is a power number. So this is pure Sagittarius, right? So this is getting creative with our faith, our directions, right? What's meaningful to us. This is a real embrace of personal connection, right? I feel like there can be a real like counter side to this, right? Getting creative with this freedom. This can feel on one hand like really being free just where you are, right? Or on the other hand, really finding new ways to adventure, literally, or mentally, right? Really getting creative with what you believe, or having a real prominent connection to beliefs and journeys, right? So there's this power in meaning. Yeah, this meaningful power going on where you're literally almost able to create your own meaning, because the creative element would be the power, the mutable, and then the meaning would be Sagittarius, right? So it's literally getting creative with your directions and what you believe in. And so I feel like, on a sense, there can be a blindness and a bit of arrogance to beliefs because they are faith-based, but also a real ability to explore them. So that is first suit. Yeah, let me know what y'all think. Hey, bubbling.